Sometimes when young coaches are coaching special teams, particularly in big field plays like we like to call kickoff and kickoff return, they get a little bit overwhelmed and get to the mission a little bit faster than they get to the assignment and the technique. Coaching special teams is really no different than coaching a defensive line or the offensive line or any position in football. I mean, essentially, you're going to have an alignment, assignment, technique, and some fundamentals that get you to each one of those. So today, we just want to talk about some of the fundamentals with kickoff coverage, and we're going to go back and forth between these two screens right here and talk a little bit about just how you can label different areas as you're going down and covering a kickoff. Now, first of all, we acknowledge that a lot of different rules in kickoffs and kickoff returns right now. The NFL's got everybody up on the line starting at the same time. I know that y'all may have different versions of rules back here, but essentially what you need to do, even from the beginning of before the ball is kicked, you need to give an alignment to your players, where they're going to line up, 2 yards inside the boundary or 2 yards outside the numbers. You can decide that and dictate that, and we obviously have those coaching points in FirstDown PlayBook. But that's extremely important to understand where you want them aligned. Now you can see the philosophy that we've got right here is that we're looking to have that football kicked from the hash to the boundary back over here somewhere where we can really only defend 2/3 of the field. So that's why the alignments may be skewed to the right a little bit on a deep right kick here. So the next thing, that after the ball is kicked, now you want to make sure that every player understands their assignment. And so we color-coded it. We think it's really a good thing with today's young players. They're used to seeing color all over their tablets and all over their smartphones. So we've tried to get green to the ball and indicating that that's a green light. Go chase the ball down. Oftentimes these are your better players. And then we put blue for the players that need to keep the ball on their inside shoulder. And there's different ways that you're going to do that depending on how you come down the field. And then we've got contain in red because contain is the last line of defense that obviously if you lose contain out here to the field, it's a really bad thing. If you lose contain to the boundary, it can still be a bad thing. So we've got that as a red alert. And then we put our stack players in gold here for stack and folded stack. Now, it's not enough to give them their alignment and their assignment. You've got to give them a little bit of help or a lot of help as far as how to get down there. Now, you don't want to paralyze them and get them thinking as they're actually going to cover the kick. But when that ball is kicked, and we've actually got this drawn up with the college, the get-off line right here, but the zones are still the same. We call the first one speed and read zone. Sometimes the speed zone turns in, people break it down, and they've got a little bit in here where they call it the avoid zone. But this is really all one thing to us. Speed and read, see what's happening. Typically, a good kickoff cover coach is going to give his cover team 1 or 2 cues. Maybe it's the fullback that you've gotten off a video that week, or maybe it's the center and a 5-man up front. If he opens one way, that tells you where the ball's going. But right now, the big thing is the players need to understand, even more so than ever, they have to get off on the kick, because now that you can't get the running start in some areas, or you can't, you have to do it within a 5-yard area right here. It's still important to get off on the kick and to get down the field and play fast right here. Play with your eyes, run with your legs. Now, the next area that you're going to hit is going to be the 2-gap area. The 2-gap area is that area of coverage to where you no longer can avoid to the left or the right. Because if you do that, you're going to get out of your lane and not be able to get back into your lane, and you're going to create a seam in the coverage. So you can avoid, get back in your lane here and speed, read, and avoid zone. But here, you need to take the blocker on, all right, and two gap that blocker, meaning that you can come off either way, whichever way the ball ends up traveling. And then finally, this area back here, the tackle zone, sort of speaks for itself, but it gets back to the area right here to where now you're tackling, but you're also keeping your responsibility if you're a contained player or a ball player. But make no mistake about it that when you get to this point right here, the ball is the issue. You can't get all wrapped up in the responsibility. Once you get here, it's time to make that play. But you want to go make that play with an awareness that I need to be keeping that ball on my inside shoulder because I've got buddies coming from the opposite side. So that's why first down playbook, as you get in to our areas right here and you get into the kickoff area, what we do is we try to give you all that type thing. We give you a ton of scheme. That's what we do. I mean, we draw football plays and we draw them, better than anybody else out there. But above and beyond the scheme, we also get into an area right here to where there are techniques, because within this area right here of coverage, these techniques will help a player know how to do the best job in the speed and the read zone, how to do the best job of avoiding, how to do the best job with a two-gap technique, and how to take on the certain blocks they're going to get. So keep that in mind as you're in first down playbook in the special teams kickoff area, and good luck to you this year as you're coaching the kickoff team.